Hello friends, I'm Brian, and this is Gizmo Board Games. Today I am taking a look at the first 4 games in the Feld Cities Collection series. That's Queen Games, and Stephan Feld kind of got together and redid some of his classic games and a new game and hopefully some more along the way. These came out on Kickstarter over the last couple years, and they're still coming out. The next 2 should be shipping later this year, I believe. So I'll be adding to this collection shortly. Stephan Feld has quickly become one of my favorite game designers after I haven't really played him before. But every game I've gotten my hands on, I've really enjoyed. I like the design, the philosophy, what he does, kind of, at least what I've seen so far, playing 5, 6, 7 of his games to this point. They've all really sung to what I enjoy in gaming, and I wanted to go ahead and take a look at the Cities collection, break them down a little bit, and talk about kind of how I feel about each one and how they rank amongst one another. And we'll just do this in the cities order. I might even touch on if I've been to these cities, because in a couple of cases I have. So we'll get started with Cities Collection game number 1. That is Hamburg, right here. Hamburg I have not been to, although I live in Germany, so it's strange that the one German city in the collection is the one I have not visited so far, or one of the ones. But in Hamburg, you're basically going through 8 rounds, and each round you are rolling 6 dice, and you're going to use those dice collectively to do actions, and you're going to have cards which aren't collective that you're going to kind of use the value of the dice and the cards you have in hand, as well as the money and everything you have, to work your way up, building out tableaus or working up tracks and building walls, whatever the case is. This is a re-implementation of the game Bruges of Feld from the early 2000s, I believe. I don't have the year. Maybe I'll plug it in up there in the corner here as I edit it. But re-implementation of Bruges plus expansions, and I think a few new things. I've not played Bruges, so I can't speak on the differences between the games yet, but hopefully in a future video I can do that. But right now, Hamburg alone, I really enjoy the art style, and this is probably going to be a kind of a thing amongst all the games here in the Cities collection. Is it's kind of hit or miss. It's pretty basic, simplistic, I guess. Nothing super extreme or crazy. It is what it is. It gets the job done. But basically, you're going to match the 6 die colors with the 6, or maybe it's 5 card colors, and you're going to take the actions pending. You got multi-use cards. You can use them as plots. You can use them as buildings. You can use them just to trash and get money, or trash and get workers. You're going to use workers to help you build the plots and help you build the wall. And the more expansions or add-ons, I guess, they're not really expansions. They're more like modules. You can kind of add them or take them or whatever as you go. But they're going to give each thing even more actions. And I really like this. There's a wealth of action selection, and you're only going to get, I believe it's 4 actions each round for 8 rounds, so 32 total actions, and then that's it. So you're kind of racing your opponents up the track in the middle. I don't know how well you can see it there. If you add the boats in, you're going to use that. You're going to build a wall on your player board, wherever the player board is on this picture here. Hopefully I get some overlays in for you. You can race up the wall, and you're competing basically to be the first one to meet various points, because if you're the first one at the end of, or the one at the end of the round who has the most in that track, you're going to get a bonus tile flipped over for 4 points at the end of the game as well. Those races are going to be most points at the end of the round, and once you've achieved that bonus, you don't have to do it again. So maybe you rush up one of them and flip it over right at the start, and then you never do it again. The most zoos is one of them, because there are zoo cards you can lay out. The most buildings, the most wall sections. Forget the other. The furthest advancement up the plaza track, I think is what it's called. And those are the 5 different ways to earn just free points. You race up those various tracks, and then, like I said, once you do it, you don't have to keep it up at because you've already earned those points, but they're going to get you more points along the way as you play the game, so you might not want to ignore them either, but you don't have to race for them against your opponents. But I really like just the multi-card use, the dice use, because I don't like dice randomness, but this is you're rolling the dice and then using the value of the die and the color to work with your cards and doing your actions. So the bigger the value, the better actions you're going to get probably, or the more money, or whatever the case is. But everybody's going to use those same dice pool, so they could also do the same thing. And then, of course, in this game, you got a little bit of a negative to the dice roll, because the higher the rolls of the dice, the more likely you are to have riots in your city, or fires, or whatever the case is. And if that happens 3 times without being mitigated, you're going to lose all your workers, or lose all your money, or lose a building, or lose a plot, or lose a part of the castle wall, or whatever the case is. So while the die roll high values are good for you in the game, they can be a hindrance to your city. They help and hurt. So I like that as well for dice manipulation and mitigation. So I just really enjoy this, and I'm going to go ahead and spoil it. This is my favorite of the 4 so far. If you've seen my top 50, you've seen that in that. I think it was the only one even in the top 50 of these 4 games. Or no, I think I'm wrong. But this was definitely the highest one. I really enjoy this game. It has a lot of offer. It's got just the variety of play. I like the play style, the thinking, the tight turns, the tight action selection. Just this one sings to me the most of all these games. And so that's why I like Hamburg. And that's that one. I'll come back in just a moment with city number 2. All right, here we have city number 2, Amsterdam. I have been to Amsterdam. I really enjoyed my trip to Amsterdam. It's a nice little place to be if you can avoid the sections where it's maybe not as nice. But I really enjoyed Amsterdam. It's a great little city, and I'd love to be able to go back at some point and check out even more. But anyway, the game itself is kind of a collection of pick up and deliver and getting area control, dudes on the map. And again, it's got some cards that you're using, and if you don't build those cards, those parts of the city, it counts against you. And then you're going to build resources for the future. Again, it's got colored dice and colored cubes. And when you roll the dice, you can pick a couple of them, 2 or 3, I forget, and you're going to put them in this little dial here. So the higher the value, the more cubes you have, but the later you have to get to them, because you're going to put them on the 5 or the 6 sector, and then you're going to have to wait 5 or 6 turns for that dial to spin around to the current turn, because that's kind of a turn counter. And I believe there are 12 rounds in this game, so you'll use the 6 twice, and then that'll be it. And you'll slowly build more and more later in the game, because round 10, you're only going to collect the 1s, 2s, and 3s, which means you're only going to use the cubes valued 1, 2, and 3, and the higher rolls are just kind of collect there at the 3 value. So you have a lot of actions late in the game. But this one is another, again, use color dice, use color cubes, use colored cards to do the things. You minimal turns or minimal actions. Your actions this time are dictated by the cubes. And different actions cost different numbers of cubes. So you could take a 1 cube action. If you have 5 cubes in a round, you could take 5 1 cube actions, or you could take 1 5 cube action and make it a real good 1 action in that round. I really enjoy this one, what it has to offer. You're working out some area control. You're collecting resources. You're doing pick up deliver up here on the top of the board through the canals. You're working your way up kind of a turn order racetrack through a canal to get resources and points along the way. And I believe that one also dictates turn orders, so doing that will help you make the first moves towards some of these other actions where there might be a tight race. And again, as you build out into the city, you're going to get cards, and what you've built will help certain actions. So you could kind of build up towards a certain way. There's a card draft for getting these cards out. So again, turn order is going to matter there. And like I said, if you can't build out these cards as the game goes on, then it's going to count against you at the end of the game. So it's going to work for you when you get them out on the board, but against you if you don't, and you have to take 1 or 2 cards every single round. So you really gotta make sure you're drafting cards that by the end of the game you're going to be able to do something with. And again, to build them are going to cost the cubes. You can hopefully see right there in the middle of the card is going to be the cost of each building. So I like what this one has to offer. I have not played this with other people, so a little caveat there, but it's got a great solo mode, and I've enjoyed the puzzle of the solo mode, and I feel like it's probably not that different from multiplayer, other than in multiplayer you can kind of predict what your opponents are going to do, and solo mode's kind of chance. But that's all right. I enjoy this one quite a bit. It's probably my 3rd favorite of these first 4, just because there's one other I like quite a bit more in my play. But this one's fun, it's good, it's enjoyable, and yeah, it's got a place for sure. And this one's going to be a re-implementation of a game called Macau. Again, I have not played that one, but from what I understand, this one, kind of adds to that one. Again, changes the art style. Again, it's kind of the simplistic, colorful art, gets the job done. Nothing special in my eyes, but it's not bad either. And then it adds a bunch of, the expansions or modules along the way, so you can mix and match different things in and change up, game from play to play. And that's true of pretty much all these games. There's so much variety in the cards, the dice, the cubes, the modules you can add, that no game is going to be the same as any other. So I really appreciate that about this game and all these, as we'll see here as we move on. So Amsterdam City Collection game number 2. For me, it falls in the number 3 slot of the 4, but that's not saying it's not enjoyable. I really do like this one as well, and I hope to introduce it to actual people instead of just playing it solo. But it's got a great solo mode, and so do all of these, save one for now. So we'll get to game number 3 in just a moment. Okay, so game number 3 in the Cities collection from Stephan Feld and Queen Games is New York City, and I have been to New York City, so 2 out of 3 so far I've been to. Spoiler alert, I've not been to any of the other ones coming up in the collection line so far. But anyway, New York City is an interesting game. It's area control at its core. You're trying to build out into the boroughs of New York City as many skyscrapers as you can. And in order to do that, you're going to go through a phase of bidding on, or not even bidding, but you're going to lay out the action cards, and then you're going to take turns taking the pair of action cards you want around the table. And then when you go to the next phase, you're going to play out in action order. So each action card corresponds to a step in the round, basically. And if you have the most of that action card, you'll get a bonus of that action for whatever that action might be, whether it's to collect more buildings into your tableau that you can place, or to place them into the current round or current sector, because every round, the current active section is going to move, and that's the only place you can bid on. Save one rule, or save one action, and that action is going to be to use the taxis or the buses or the ferries to claim a route, and then you can build adjacent to that route as well as that action. You can also bid on helpers from the elevator and use them, and they're going to give you benefits such as extra points each round, or extra coins each round, or extra action selection. So just like the other ones, this one's got some helper cards you can use along the way. They're not a hand of cards like the last 2 games, and there are no dice in this game, so a lot of the randomness is gone. And so that's weird that I actually like this one 4th best, and it's the one with the least amount of randomness. So maybe I do like some randomness. But this one, yeah, I enjoy the mechanisms of selecting your actions and outbidding, or not even outbidding, but just having more of them, because you're going to use every card you've selected each round, unless you get a helper that lets you keep them. So you kind of have an eye of who might bid what, but you don't know exactly if they're going to do it, because I think you can, you've got a kind of a hold place where you can exchange, and I think you can actually use 2 of one action to act as a different action. I don't remember exactly the mechanism, but there's a way to not use the action card you used in the action that it's actually for, if I recall. It's been a while since I played this one. I think it's the most predictable of the games. It's got the least amount of variability. You got these workers come out, and they're going to change up a little bit, but they're not that big of a stack, and there's a few repeats. You're in the end, you're just kind of playing out to the zones, and each zone's going to be worth more points for whoever has the most buildings in it. And that's kind of my drawback with this one is I like it. It's fun, but it just doesn't have a lot of the variability and the really thinky in-depthness that I enjoy. It's just kind of playing the cards that come out against, the board stage and just racing around to try to be able to own the most of the highest scoring boards, or the highest scoring for you, because you can also pick up, tokens to help you to collect for like blue zones, help you more, or whatever the case is. And it's fun. I've only played this one once or twice. The solo is okay. It does the job. It acts as the game. I prefer the multiplayer, and I have played this one multiplayer too. So, but in the end, it's just my least favorite of the four, and it's no super fault to anything other than the other three are just that good, and this one's just kind of okay. And this game is an re-implementation of Rialto, another game I have not played, so I've got plenty of classic Felds to still try and see how they tweak and change and have grown, or maybe these made them worse. I don't know, because I haven't played them. But yep, so re-implementation again of Rialto and New York City. It's okay. It's enjoyable. I think it's my second favorite, maybe third favorite area control, as its main mechanism game. So I enjoy it, but I enjoy the other three more, and so we'll leave it at that. We'll go ahead and grab the final game in the original Feld City Collection line. And finally, game number 4 in the Stephan Feld City Collection from Queen Games is Marrakesh. And I've only played this one once, and it was really enjoyable. I really want to play it again. This one has no solo mode, so I gotta wait till I have people over and we can teach it, because it is pretty involving of a game, but it's good enough to still be my second favorite of the first 4. I just really enjoy what's going on in this one, and just the originality, I believe. And this game does have a Kickstarter, I think, active right now, with some expansion modules and including a solo module. So I'm interested, but I don't know that I'm going to pull the trigger just yet. I probably will, but this is the thing I'm going to get into at the end. But everything with these collection are kind of pricey, and to get the expansion modules for this game, plus whatever else it is, I don't remember exactly, but basically it's going to be $75 for me to get what I would want with that expansion collection, and that's quite a bit of money for just a little bit more to this game to include a solo module. But that said, I enjoy this one for what it is. I just need to play it with people, and I don't always have people here to play with, and we're not always ready to play this game. But anyway, in this game, it's another game where you've got tracks. You've got Keshi wooden pieces in my game. I think they added cardboard in the newer version of this game. You got castles again, you're building out. But on each turn, you're going to select 3 of 12 of the Keshi things, and those are going to dictate what actions you're going to take that turn on your board. And then you're going to drop them all together with everybody's Keshis into the big tower, and then it's got layers in there where they can stick in, and so not everything's guaranteed to come out. And then when everything comes out, you can grab up to 2 of the same Keshi around the table, and then you're going to put them into their various locations on the board. And the more of each type of Keshi you get when you take that action, because again, it's the 3 you selected at the beginning, not anything you drafted, that are going to dictate your actions for that round. So maybe I want to take a pink action, so I drop my pink Keshi in, and then everybody else decides they're going to take the pink action too. So you could have 3 or 4 pink Keshis to draft from. I'm going to grab 2, and then I've just boosted my pink action by 2. Or maybe I didn't go ahead and draft my pink Keshi when it was in there. I drafted a different one because I've already got 2 or 3 there. And so I'm still going to take that pink action with the Keshis I have in place and do it at that power level without making it 1 better or 2 better in that round. But yeah, you're working your way up tracks. There's 2 different tracks you can work up. There's a river track you can work down, and whoever's further along at the end of each round, I think there's 3 rounds in the game. At the end of each round, they're going to get bonus things, and then everybody's going to start over the next round at the beginning. You also have to pay a tax at the end of the round, so you got to be mindful of making sure you have those resources at the end of the round so you don't go backwards in points. You're going to be playing for end-game scoring. You're going to be playing for potential advancements in your society, so making each action you do even more powerful, or giving you a special ability on your turn, or just free points for whenever you do a thing. Just so much variety. You can go to the market and just buy points from there. Just it's a big point salad cornucopia of actions. Again, you're gonna have 11, I think, different actions with 1 wild Keshi. So of the 12 Keshis, that's 11 different actions with 1 wild action that you get to pick, and 11 different places where you can make points and get stronger from round to round and turn to turn. And it's just a wealth of fun and kind of predicting what other colors or what other actions people might be wanting to do, because if you're first in the round and you know you want to take the gray action, and you know maybe you're the 4th starting player that round, so it's the last one, and you know like there's at least 1 other gray Keshi that could potentially fall out, and that's the action you want to do, and you got the first pick, there's a good chance you're going to get 2 grays for that action. So it's reading other players and what they're trying to do. And just like all these other city collections, it's just a race of points and ways to do it and actions to take. And I really look forward to trying this one out again. I just really enjoyed it, and it might even replace Hamburg as my favorite of these games if I can just play it more. And that might come with me getting the solo, or it might come with just me getting some more buddies who like this one as well. But that's game number 4, which falls in second. And so let's go ahead and review my thoughts on the Feld collection as I move this out of the way. So let's talk about how I rank them. Again, just a quick review. I like Hamburg the best right now. Marrakesh isn't far behind. I just need to play it more. Amsterdam behind that. And then finally, New York City. There are 2 more games coming, which are, again, re-implementations of old Feld classics, Vienna and Cusco. I did back those on Kickstarter, so I will be receiving them sometime by the end of the year, I believe, and I look forward to trying those out as well, having not played the original games. But I enjoy Stephan Feld games. I enjoy what they have to offer. I just like the way they played. Castles of Burgundy has now really climbed up as one of my favorite games as well, now that I've received that one. So I just look forward to even more goodness from Stephan Feld, who probably is quickly becoming my favorite game designer. About the collection itself, it feels like every time the Cities collection comes out, you can back the previous iterations, and so I think you're still going to be able to get them. I got the classic version. There's a deluxe version which has deluxified pieces and sleeves that give it kind of the nighttime view. They look real sleek, but they're like an extra $50 for just a little bit extra bits and a sleeve cover. And that's my biggest gripe about the Cities collection, is they're just so darn expensive. I think each one of these games is $80 to $100 for just the classic set, and then like $125 and plus shipping, because Kickstarter and everything. And I could probably get a couple games for what I paid for each one of these games, and that hurts my soul because they're such good games, and I just wish Queen games weren't so expensive. And I was on fire to get the Marrakesh solo when I heard that it was coming, but looking at the price, I don't even know that I could justify spending that much to just be able to play this game by myself. So I don't know. I've got to sit on that one. And yeah, that's the biggest gripe with all these games from what I've been seeing and hearing, is that just Queen games, they make good quality components. I'm not gonna knock that. Like, they are quality components. Like, I don't feel like I'm being ripped off. I just don't know that they need to be as expensive as they are. And so that's the gripe in general with the city's collection. Again, I backed all 6 that have come so far, so it hasn't swayed me away, and I've enjoyed the plays. It's just something to be mindful of as you look at potentially heeding my enjoyment in these games yourself. Be mindful that they are not cheap, but they are fun. A lot of joy, a lot of fun. I really like Stephan Feld. I feel like each of these games is similar enough. They've got similar iconography, so once you've played a couple of them, you really get used to what the icons mean, other than like Marrakesh has some new icons. Each game's got its individual icons, but for the most part, earning points has the same icons, getting money has the same icons, things like that. So they're easy to learn as you go, because they do each come with an appendix for every card, because there's a bunch of cards with a bunch of icons and they do a bunch of different things. So a really good appendix to look up every individual card, every individual piece of cardboard in the game. Again, the quality is good. They put out a good product. It's just really pricey. That said, I still look forward to continuing to grow my cities collection. Alhambra is just kind of a space holder there for my line of cities collections at this point, because I know it's going to keep growing, and I've enjoyed it. I look forward to coming back when I get the 2 new games played and see where they fall in the cities line, and following up on this video with a future video. Speaking of future videos, if you want to see future videos from me, subscribe below. It's too easy. Click the button. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. And more importantly, let me know in the comments below if you've played these and what your thoughts are, what your ranking order is. Is it the same as mine? Is it different than mine? Maybe you like New York City the best and you like Hamburg the least. Let me know in the comments below. I look forward to hearing your thoughts and seeing you again next time. Bye.